Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. I'm grateful to be here, and I trust that you are feeling as well as you can be in this moment, despite whatever circumstances might be prevailing in your life at this time. Please give me one moment. I just need to take a sip of water. I can tell I'm about to lose my voice, so... There we go. Insurance policy secured. Anyway, remember that if you are going through anything difficult in your life at this time, that this too shall pass, and that whatever you're feeling, it is always a valid expression of what you are experiencing inside and out. I hope to be your humble host, and if I'm not, you can hold me accountable to that. I certainly make mistakes, and I'm happy to learn from them. Today we've got a new background. I've moved the galaxy tapestry to be a throw on my couch, and then I used my green screen behind for some nature videos in the background. I think that'll be very relaxing. It's already relaxing me. I can breathe the fresh air as though it were really here. Although I could also just crack open a window and then I'd really be breathing fresh air. Welcome. Hello, dearest G. Welcome, Franklin. And thank you, Franklin, for your heart me and popular vote. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. How are you? And today I've also taken off the filters that TikTok automatically puts on for your face. I discovered where that was, and you know, the beauty filter that makes your face look smoother than it is. So this is unfiltered. Hopefully I'm not too much uglier. Now I'd love to start by setting the intention for this space as being a welcoming environment, open to everyone, regardless of our background, identity, orientation, belief system, ethnicity, etc. May we come together as fellow students of life to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Thank you. Hello, dear Shelly Belly, and hello, dear Enzo. That's right, Enzo, and regardless of how tall you are. Mm-hmm. Hello, dear Fantuma. How are you? And hello, dear Juicy. I'd love to also begin by setting a intention with a prayer from a pair of ancient scriptures known as the Katha and Taittiriya Upanishad. And in ancient Sanskrit, the peace prayer goes like this. It's known as one of the Shanti mantras. Aum Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Aum Shanti 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 Harihi Aum Tat Sat. And in English that means something like, may the divine protect us both together. May the divine nourish us both together. May our studies be vigorous and effective. May we work conjointly with great haste. And may we not mutually dispute or hate any. Om. May there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment. And may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Welcome to Maniac Mitch. Hello, dear Crystal. I'm glad you find the background beautiful, dear Juicy. Or maybe the chant. I'm not sure exactly. What do you find beautiful? Happy Friday, Crystal. So welcome, everyone. For today's Sangha, we shall have a reading session from the Radiant Sutras. This is the modern translation and commentary of the ancient Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. We'll be chanting some Sanskrit, reading the translations, and seeing how these 112 gateways to the yoga of wonder and delight can be found in everyday, ordinary life experiences. And then we'll have some Q&A. There'll be a question of the day about how to get out of our mental spirals, and then we'll end with a mantra chanting session as our meditation. You found the chant beautiful, shares Juicy. Thank you. How did I learn all this? Well, Sanskrit is a beautiful language that's often used in spiritual contexts because it has such a connection with our human experience. And if you go to places where spiritual discussion is frequent, you may often listen to Sanskrit being used because it's so impactful to deliver spiritual meaning. And that verse in particular is often chanted at the beginning of spiritual discussion, such as this one. If you spend time in such spaces, I'm sure you'll pick up on these things too. If you want. I think chanting is fun. I think we all have a faculty that loves to chant within us. Do you like to chant anything, even if it's not Sanskrit? Welcome, dear Raven. I changed the background just today. Yeah. I'm grateful that you find beauty in me, dear Valentina. I hope you find beauty in my words, as my words are certainly more important than who is speaking them. I should hope anyway. Good evening, dear Rianam. Are there chosen ones really, asks Bro. Well, I love what my partner says about chosen ones, that it's been misunderstood semantically, that it's not chosen one from another being who has chosen you. It's, do you choose to be someone to create change in this world? Do you choose yourself to be part of that one? Well, then your question becomes an inner inquiry. Are you a chosen one? You get to decide that for yourself if you choose to be or not. Namaste, dear Alex. Dear Jasmine. What? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Exactly, dear Dawn. Do you choose yourself to be Neo? Well said. Good anagram. Namaskar, dear Dancing Aurora Borealis. Dear JMTS, you shared today you've been very irritable for no reason. Is that normal? It's definitely common. Yeah. I mean, you're not alone. Many of us, including myself, have irritable days. In fact, I'm sure there's people here that are also feeling irritable today. How many of you are feeling irritable? Maybe a little bit me, somewhere in... It's all percentages, right? I'm definitely not up there, but maybe like 1%. We'll see. See how my patience is tested today. What about you? What's your irritability percent today? I think there might be a language barrier, dear Jasmine. You love chanting, Frater? You practice Western ceremonial magic, which involves a lot of vibrating Hebrew words. I love that. Hebrew is a very spiritual language as well. Hello, dear Hilda. I'm grateful that you observed that, dear Crystal. My partner is very good with words herself. When is she going to join me here? When she develops the courage. Yeah, but she's in chat. She likes to be in chat. Yeah. G to infinity. You're not feeling irritable but drained, share somebody. Yeah, that makes sense. If you want to share what's draining you today, you're welcome to. Obviously, it's personal, so please don't feel like you have to. Thank you, dear angel wings, for the heart me that you sent. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Hello, Medic Man. I appreciate that you find admirable qualities in me. If I had to choose, I'd prefer you pick the ones that maybe have more to do with maybe the words that we speak rather than my appearance. But thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, dear username. How are you? Dear Enzo, you ask, how does one alter their timeline? By engaging with life, by doing, by acting, by being a part of this world, making choices. Nothing radical other than your own free will to, choose what you want to be when you're older. Oh, everyone. I think my computer crashed again. All my effort in preventing my computer from crashing seems to still need some more effort on top of that. Oh well. We make do with what we have. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Thank you, Medic Man, for the friendship necklace you sent. Bhurmbhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Thank you for the rosa as well. Thank you, Gully, for your heart me. Dum Durgaya Namaha. Let's get the show on the road. Continue reading through the Radiant Sutras if you want to listen. I'm certainly going to enjoy this next part. Oh, that's right. I forgot to redo the book cover. I like to put up the cover of the book when I'm reading. Let's see if I can quickly do that. There it is. Nice. All right. We are continuing from the 37th Yukti. This is one of the 112 gateways to the yoga of wonder and delight. I'll chant the Sanskrit. This is the 60th verse overall in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Nirvriksha giri bhityadi deshe drishtim vinikshipet viline manase bhave vrittikshina prajayate. And Lauren Roche has given as the poetic interpretation of this verse. Go to a wide open space. Gaze without looking anywhere. The mind stops its building of thoughts and rests on its own foundation. Immensity. The light that you see by is the light that comes from inside. Another beautiful verse, Bhairava, the divine feminine in his fierce form, is speaking to Bhairavi, the divine feminine who had inquired about these methods in everyday life. The word of the verse is vrt. Vrt. How do you spell that? It's V-R-T. In Sanskrit, R can be used as a vowel. It's called a vocalic R. Vrt. V-R-T. Vrt means surrounding, enclosing, obstructing a group of followers to turn round, revolve, roll, also applied to the rolling down of tears, to move or go on, get along, to pass away the time, to be intent on, attend to have illicit intercourse with, to cause to turn or revolve, whirl, wave, or hurl. These are all the different meanings of this word, vrt. The practice. The definitions of vrt make my head spin. Vrt is the root of vritti, a term often used in yoga to indicate whirlpools, mental vortices, especially of thought. Vritti has additional meanings pertaining to addition and occupation, working, practice, business, livelihood, and wages. Vritti is also defined as the final rhythm of a verse, a commentary, comment, gloss, explanation, especially of a sutra. The sutra suggests you go to a place, desha, where there are no trees, no hills, no walls, and with open eyes, gaze at nothing. Behold that wide open space. Throw your attention into that spaciousness as your mind dissolves in emptiness. Your addictions, preoccupations, mental whirlpools, the vortexes, vritti, will gradually diminish. No matter how many times the vrittis intrude, return again and again to the simple beauty of bareness. This practice is especially valuable when you are besieged by repetitive thoughts or worries, by old thinking that creates suffering. You can take a mental vacation and visualize a wide open boundarylessness or boundaryless space. Sometimes there's nothing like actually going to such a place and spending a week just letting your mind empty itself out. That's the 37th practice. Go to a wide open space. Dissolve your mind in it. I like that. Let's read a couple more. This is now the 38th yukti and the 61st verse overall in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Ubhayor bhavayor jnane dhyatva madhyam samashrayet yoga pacha dvayam tyaktva madhye tvatvam. It's a difficult verse. Madhye tattvam prakashate. excuse my chanting. It translates to watch for a moment in which two opposing perceptions occur. Wanting to go and not going, knowing and simultaneously not knowing. In the midst of this dilemma, let go of both perceptions and jump into the interval between. Reality flashes forth. Your being is the shining field of awareness, the continuum in which the opposites play. The word of the verse is prakasha. Prakaasha. Prakasha. It can mean visible, shining, bright, clear, manifest, open, public, pronouncing a name out loud, expanded, universally noted, famous, celebrated for, renowned throughout, openly, publicly, before the eyes of all, clearness, brightness, splendor, luster, light, elucidation, explanation, appearance, display, manifestation, expansion, diffusion, publicity, fame, renown, glory, sunshine, open spot or air, the gloss on the upper part of a horse's body, the messengers of Vishnu, or even laughter. Prakasha. As a bit of an etymology of that word, it comes from akasha, which is the verb or word, not a verb, it's a noun, meaning space. Akasha is space. Pra is a prefix meaning forward, meaning for, or that which comes before. So prakasha is the light that shines out of space, the light that is coming from above, literally speaking. And perhaps you can hear that in all of these various usages of that term, the prakasha. The practice, prakasha, makes me laugh. When the space between any two perceptions, thoughts, or objects starts shining forth, it is a kind of joke. One moment, space is just there, hiding, out in the open. No one can see me. Then, with the magic of attention, the space in between becomes bright with interaction. The mantra, tool of thought. Tra, meaning tool. Man, meaning the mind. Mantra, tool of thought. In this practice is the space between any two somethings. Two breaths, two clouds, two mountains, two trees, two boxers in the ring, two teams on the field. In lovemaking, it is the space between two bodies, between two breasts. In a conversation, it is the space between two people. At first, the middle space may feel like nothing, but as your awareness shifts levels toward the subtle, the space between begins to seem like the most dynamic thing happening, a magnetic field. When you get this, the invisible somehow becomes illumined and richly textured. And this is such a wonderful surprise that you may burst out laughing. Prakasha. That is the 38th practice. I like that. I like all of these, but that one is funny. Let's read one more. This is the 39th verse. This is the 39th yukti, specifically. and the 62nd verse overall in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Bhavet yakte niruddha chinnaiva bhavantaram vrajet tada tanmadhya bhavena vikasatyati bhavana. That means something like, cast aside the 10,000 things and love only one. Don't go on to another. Engage your lively awareness with this one focus, one object, one thought, one symbol. Now go inside, find the center, the soul, the heart, right here in the middle of the feeling. Attend to the blossoming, attention vast as the sky. The word of the verse is niruddha. 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 It can mean held back, withheld, held fast, stopped, shut, closed, confined, restrained, checked, kept off, removed, suppressed, covered, veiled. It comes from the root rud, which means to obstruct. The practice, focusing is easy when you are in love. When we are devoted to someone, we focus on them naturally and close ourselves off, niruddha, to other affections. For this practice, select something you are so interested in that you can pay attention to it forever. Something you love so much, you're willing to give up everything else to be with it. Tyakta, left, abandoned. Immersed in this love, witness the blossoming of deep affection, bhavana. Keep cultivating your interest. Become more and more intimate with this one person, animal, object, art, or skill. A universe of skills is required if we are to stay in love. Niruddha itself requires a light touch. Restraint easily becomes suppression, and suddenly love feels like bondage. Yet not having enough restraint can endanger your primary relationship. A great love may light you up so much that you can feel you can love the whole human race. Love wants to spill over, gush, but you can't share your love physically with everyone because there isn't enough time or space or, quoting the book, condoms. We have to explore and find the right kind of restraint for each moment, each day. This skill set is ever-changing, applying the exact nuance of holding and freedom appropriate in each heartbeat. Niruddha is saying, be loyal to your love. Keep on going deeper with this one. That one baby, cat, dog, horse, woman, painting, piece of music, or garden contains the essence of the cosmos. One of the great gifts of meditation, where meditation and love intersect, is that meditation being an act of paying attention. As our attention grows stronger and deeper, we become more capable of staying interested in one person. They are new and surprising in every moment. When we bond with another person, with an animal, with family, or a team, it is as if there are invisible strings connecting us with them. Each string is a nerve connection, a living current of prana, Whenever we are working with strings, we are in the realm of Tantra. Remember, Tan can mean thread, so Tantra is the technology of weaving many threads together. In its sense of, I think the author already says that, in the sense of weaving together the strings of life into a fabric. Cherish these connections. The sacred function of Niruddha is not to block out the world, but to free you to attend to love. And I love that. What an excellent trio of everyday meditation practices. The first one, find an open space and let your thought vortices dissolve. The second one, attend to the space between things, the opposites. Feel the dynamism that exists in the relationship between two things. And thirdly, love one pointedly. These are all excellent meditations. They're non-traditional, but yet so ordinary. Thank you very much for listening. If this invoked any reflections in you, you're always welcome to share. That was our Shravana section, the section of our Sangha dedicated to listening. I'm grateful to have listened with you as we read. Let's transition now to Manana, the section dedicated to Q&A. And I'll have a question of the day in a little bit. And I welcome everyone that joined while we were reading as well. Thank you, dear Marcus, for the heart me that you sent to. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudhraya. Dear Felipe, thank you for your rose. Am Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namo. Thank you, Jackie, for your tiny as well. Am Kring Kalikaya Namo. I like your healthy additions, dear Raven. That diversifying one's love prevents obsession too. And watch out for anxious attachment. Trust the process. Trust the space. Well said. Mm-hmm. Welcome, dear Draking. Welcome, Victor. Good morning, you ask. Have I always been spiritually awake or aware? No, we are always on a journey of becoming more aware, rather than it being a binary, either you're awake or not awake. There's a smooth transition, and in fact, an infinite transition. There is no limit to how deeply you can be asleep unconscious. There's also no limit, thankfully, to how conscious you can be. That continuum is infinite. We all are, ideally, becoming more and more awake. We can use each experience in our life to become more and more awake. And there's all sorts of creative ways to use the most mundane experiences to awaken to. Like in our readings of the Radiant Sutras. Dear Jackie, you ask, what's anxious attachment? It's actually a new term for me that I learned from all of you, since you have brought it up to me several times. And from what I've learned from all of you, tell me if I'm wrong, an anxious attachment is a way of attaching to something or someone to avoid your own anxiety. That because of your anxiety, you cling to something. It's like you're scared of falling, and so you grip tightly onto the railing or a branch or a person. Is that an anxious attach? Do I understand that correctly? Uh-oh, I think the live stream might have crashed again. Or it's about to. Because I think my audio just went out. This is usually what happens beforehand. Yep. Hello, 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 hello. Testing, can you hear me? I think you can hear me. Oh, my computer has been crashing. And it also reset my audio settings. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Instead of playing music from a YouTube... Hello. I accidentally just closed my audio program. Essentially muted myself. Instead of playing music from a YouTube video, I'm going to play just one of the songs that I have downloaded on my computer, since it seems to be that my web browser is one of the things that influences the crash, so I just won't have a web browser open. Okay. Oh. My media player encountered an error while playing this song. How about this one? I don't hear anything. Technology. How about this one? No. I wonder why. Be very nice to have some background music, so it's not just my voice. If you'll excuse me. If I can't figure it out, I'll just go back to using some on the internet and hoping it doesn't crash. Okay, let me just go back to the internet. Maybe it's the live videos. If I choose a video that's not live, maybe it won't crash. I'm hoping you can hear that too. Yes, you can. Okay. I'll have to put some more time into fixing whatever is causing these crashes. There, now you can see the horizon as well. Hello, dear Keki. I should be a voiceover artist. Do you like the frequencies of this voice that has been being vibrated out of the vocal cords grown from my mom? I hope that beyond the tones of my words themselves are more important. Thank you, dear Anasoda, for the trio of roses you sent. Hare Krishna, and dear Talitha, thank you for your popular vote. Kamalir Maha Kalikaye Namaha. What do I do as a career? Asked Keki. Dude, you also ask if I have a job. Well, you know, the purpose of these live streams is not to explore my personal life, but I consider this to be something of a mode of income for me, even though I never ask for it or expect it. From the donations I get from these live streams, that's enough to cover all my expenses. But you pick something you love, you never have to work a day in your life, and it never feels like work for me. What about you? Is there something that if you work on, that it wouldn't feel like work because you love it so much? I'm very grateful to have a mother like mine, indeed, dear Alex. Dear Ellie, you share that you have a date soon. You're kind of nervous. Well, that's completely understandable. Yeah. If you're nervous, that means you're open. It's good to be open. Yeah. And embrace your awkwardness. You don't have to be confident and stoic in a date. You can be human. And that's what's attractive. Your own authenticity. The track suits the green screen scene. I'm happy to hear that, dear G. Thank you, dear Terra Star. You needed cheering up today, perhaps? Of course, dear Ellie. What is one way you can be authentic in your awkwardness? Allow yourself to just be human. Think about that. Ellie, for you, it'd be to embrace the awkward silences when the conversation has a lull. Perfect. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful when you can have someone that you can feel comfortable being in silence with? Sometimes it's difficult at first to do that with someone who's new in your life. But the more time you spend together in silence, the deeper your connection in that silence becomes. Isn't it so? A relationship exists in between two people. So if you nourish literally the physical atmosphere, the environment between you two, the silence, just being, the stillness, that creates such a sturdy foundation for a relationship. Namaste, Barbara. That's the best, to be able to be silent together, right? Shares dancing Aurora Borealis. If you have a dynamic with someone where every time you're together, you're always engaging in something dynamic, that's fine. Sometimes there's people in your life that just represent that for you. Always going. But especially for long-term personal companionship with friends, family, and other loved ones, you don't want your relationship to always just reflect change, but just being together in wholeness. It does something energetically for the future exchanges of the relationship. You have something almost to rest on, these experiences of nothing, just allowing each other's presence to be. You and your friend had a fire on the beach and didn't talk, shares Olski. You let the fire talk for you, right? Just staring into the fire. That's beautiful. And yeah, you had a good time, I assume. Dear Inesora, you had asked how to connect to the heart more. Breathe. One of the number one things that affects the heart, not just emotionally, but physically, your breath. Don't try this, but the next time you are breathing very quickly, notice that it also comes with an elevated heart rate. And vice versa, when you are breathing very slowly, your heart rate is also usually just as slow. It's a two-way relationship. Sometimes the source of your fast breathing is your fast heart rate, and the source of your slow breathing is your slow heart rate. But it works both ways. You can calm a racing heart by breathing slower, and you can get it up to speed by having some more energetic breaths, shall we say. In general, however, it's good to have a slower heart rate, unless you're doing physical activity. Even then, in those breaks and those periods of momentary rest or downtime, you can try to center your system again. Yeah. But our emotional heart, how do we connect with the emotions inside of our heart? That takes a lot of stillness and awkward silence with ourself. It's difficult to connect with what's inside ourself when we're preoccupied with something else in the world. To truly connect with what's inside often requires a momentary disconnect from what's outside. Emphasis on momentary, because the goal of spiritual practice is not to permanently become disconnected from the world, but to return to it after we have established ourselves in something more permanent in this world, that is something on the inside, that is changeless. Meditation is excellent for that. Do you have any meditation practices that you find yourself going back to, dear Inesota? Ellie, you had asked, how often do I remember the people who visit my live streams? You always wonder. There's a lot of people that come through here. For example, even though there's only 50 people in the live stream right now, well, I say only 50 people, 50 people is still a lot of people. 1,000 people have come through this space already. And we're only in the first hour or so of the live stream. After a longer live stream, maybe 10,000 people could come through. So I obviously can't remember the details of absolutely everyone that comes through here. But I recognize your username and profile picture, dear Ellie. I remember asking if you prefer it pronounced Eli or Ellie, and I think you told me it was Ellie. Yeah, I do recognize people's usernames, especially the frequent viewers, naturally. Those that engage with me the most, I'm going to have a deeper impression with. Those that are silent viewers, I might not even recognize your username, even if you've been here for a long time. Well, that's okay. I can perhaps recognize the energy that you add to the space. And everyone's welcome, regardless of how much they interact or not. Her Royal Highness Zeni, thank you for your 16 roses. Kali Maha Kali Kali Ke Parameshwari Sarvananda Kare Devi Narayani Namostute. Hello, presence. Thank you for your presence. You had asked, have I ever astral projected? This is one of those words or terms that is a very fascinating topic, but it ultimately refers to a very simple process that we all have undergone. In fact, everyone probably did do this in the last 24 hours. You do it when you sleep, when you dream. And that's not to undermine the value of dreams. That's not to undermine the value of astral projection. That's actually to spiritualize your understanding of what dreams are. Dreams are an example of where you do that already. Another place you do that is when you're in your imagination. When you're visualizing things, especially as children do. They can be so precise in their visualizations that it truly is like a whole another world occurring to them. And it is a whole other world occurring to them. It's their deep, collective subconscious, the world of archetypes and symbolic form. It's part of our subtle layer of reality. And to be clear, you don't leave the body while you're astral projecting. The term projecting is a bit of a misnomer because it sounds like you're the one that's projecting. You're projecting into the astral realm, which is more of a figure of speech. What's actually being projected is not you, but your subconscious. The subconscious gets projected onto the canvas of the mind, and then you get to experience and interface with your subconscious consciously. You can do that when you dream. You can do that when you're doing shadow work. You can do that when you're doing creative work, imagining, visualizing. Where do you find yourself drawing from that realm of archetype and symbols? And does it ever become a fully intense, immersive experience for you? I'd be curious to know. Thank you, Minnesota, for another rose too, by the way. I'm happy you're feeling blessed, dear Barbara. Yeah, we got the down-to-earth background today. I hope you like it, dear G. Dacker. My smile is beautiful. Thank you, Minnesota. I hope the words that come out of it are even more beautiful, however. Do you like to smile at people when you're walking down the street? There are parts of you in need of healing, dear Tara? I think we all have something we're healing from. Hello, behold my pipe dream. Hello, dear Donsuela Bria. Thank you for being here. How are you? I'm not from the UK. I don't really consider myself a citizen of any country, even though I am, formally. I truly consider myself just a citizen of the world, and it's the same world that we're all part of. Yeah. I don't have any attachment to the nation that I happen to be born in, and I have a lot of love for all the nations around the world. My explanation should be a secret, shares G. Dacker. Well, consider this a secretive live stream. Only those who are meant to stumble upon it will. Your algorithm brought you here for a reason, I'm sure. I do like to smile at people when walking down the street. In fact, I was stopped the other day because this guy said, "Hey, you know there's no smiling here. $5 penalty." And I didn't know what to say, but as I was walking away, I thought, "Do you take debit?" I said that, and the woman he was with laughed. I just kept smiling. He was smiling too. It was all in good fun. Thank you, Talita, for the heart me and popular vote you sent. Radhe, Radhe. Hello, dear Joao. You ask, do I have any advice for someone struggling with knowing themselves, with understanding its identity? Well, welcome to the human experience. If you know yourself, you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, then you know yourself. What that means is that truly, the very fact that you are questioning who you are is the fullest expression of who you are. You are a questioner. You are a mystery. You are that which cannot be known. How you explore your sense of self is a measure of your sense of self. The seeker is the sought, in a way. So what you have to understand is that there isn't anything concrete about you. You are something beyond this body, beyond this mind. You are the consciousness, the awareness. What is the consciousness or the awareness? We don't know, because it is the one that knows. It is that which we share in life, that all of life shares, the essence of being. And all of life is just an expression of that being in many ways. And the fact that this moment is not anything in particular, but is always changing, shows us that from that infinite source that we're a part of, we are constantly expressing that self in newer and newer ways. And there's an infinitude of expression always remaining. What are some of the ways you like to express yourself? Yeah, energy goes where attention goes. Well said, Terra Star. Therefore, it's good to be aware of where you give your awareness to. Thank you, Laurie, for your heart me. Ham jum sa Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Who remembers what that mantra is called? You're feeling much more calm and grounded, Donsuela. I'm happy to hear that. Chapman, feeling his hello. My computer crashed again. I have restarted it. Thank you for your patience. Welcome, dear Judah girl. I'm doing well. Thank you, Ren Fox. You're very welcome, dear Joao. It's like the journey being as important as the destination. Exactly. Yeah. Laura, you started wearing smoking patches today. Wish you luck. You can do this. You can do this. Yeah. I was able to get off nicotine, and I wasn't able to do it without prayers. But the prayers themselves got me through it. I kept praying to be reminded that my happiness is not in nicotine. It sounds obvious when you say it out loud. My happiness is not in the nicotine. But if you keep saying that to yourself, it starts to rewire your brain, I think. My happiness is not in the nicotine. My happiness is not in the nicotine. My happiness is not in the nicotine. My happiness is in supportive friend group, healthy relationships with my family. My happiness is in my discipline to pursue more meaningful hobbies and coping mechanisms. My happiness is in helping the people in my life. My happiness is in the service that I do. My happiness is within. May I ask, is this your first time trying to quit smoking, dear Lori? Hello, dear Danny, or Danny. I'm grateful to be here for you. You have a physical disability. Thank you for sharing that. If you want to share what that is, you're welcome to. It's personal, of course, so don't feel obligated by any means. It's good to destigmatize disability and understand that all of our bodies and minds are unique. Oski, you had asked, what was the primordial feminine energy mantra? That is Adi Shaktaye Namaha. It always starts with and then this sounds very similar, but it's A-U-M after. That's the bija, that's the seed. Adi, meaning primordial or first. Shaktaye, to the feminine. Shakti, to energy or power. Nama, salutations. Adi Shaktaye Namaha. Getting in touch with your divine feminine, dear Oski. Japman is comfortable today, shares Donsuela. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you all for inviting me back after the crash. I've got my task manager up this time at the same time so I can view what's causing any possible problems. Seems like TikTok just uses a very high power. It draws a lot of power. The live streaming studio. What happens if I minimize it so it's still running but in the background? Does it go down? I think it does go down. It's at 30%. If I put it back up, 38%? I don't know. 40%? 41? Okay. Now minimize again. Does it drop? It does seem to drop just a little bit by a few percentages. Okay. No, it's going up again. Might be just random noise. Sometimes it happens like this in life. We're looking for correlation. But if we continue to get more data, we might discover that things that were previously correlated is actually uncorrelated. I'm sure keeping things minimized helps anyway. Lindsay, you share Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you. Oh, I'm gonna lose my voice 1 second. Thank you for raising awareness of the fact that this month is associated with mental health. Mental health is so important. I think we all know what it's like to go through periods of low or lower mental health. And what a beautiful thing to dedicate some time to continue to keep that in mind. Literally. I think it's such a beautiful term, mental health. Just as our body has health, so does our mind. And what are the ways of keeping our body healthy? I can think of a couple. Good food and exercise. Sleep as well. What are the equivalents of food, sleep, and exercise for the mind? Thank you, Lori, for your tiny tiny. You were having a lot of technical difficulties not long ago, shares Rhiannon. Yeah, I know what that's like. I'm happy you can relate. What were you dealing with, if I may ask? Dear Innesoda, you had asked how to deal with guilt trapped in the body. That's a very good question. Yeah, it definitely feels like our emotions are trapped in our bodies sometimes. Somatic practices can be really beneficial. You can lie on the ground and set your intention called a sankalpa. I return all this energy that's no longer serving me back to Mother Earth. Or you can pick a different source like the sun. You can feel the sunlight. Have a connection between your heart and the center of the sun as you breathe in and out. Imagine giving all the energy back to the sun. You take it back that you ultimately gave this world and therefore me. You do something new with it. Or you can even close your eyes and connect with the source of all sources. Hand it back to source. You're welcome to share some of the things that make you feel guilty if you're comfortable. Obviously, no pressure. Many people relate with feeling of guilt. Yao, Mega Disney, you feel guilty all the time because you feel like it's always your fault. There's a form in which guilt can be healthy, and maybe transforming it into that form is a good next step for many people. The form in which it's healthy is the form of reflection and taking accountability. If there's something for you to reflect on, like a mistake, reflect on it. And what does it mean to reflect on it? It's to understand what went wrong and how that applies to the rest of your life going forward. Remember to ground yourself in the present. Is that mistake something that I'm continuing to make in this moment? If not, if it's just a memory, then please forgive yourself in this moment. If you have that opportunity arising again, then the very fact that you feel guilt implies that there's something that you've learned from this experience. That is truly if you have genuinely done something wrong. But sometimes guilt doesn't come from anything you've done. It comes from what another person has done, and they shared that feeling with you without your consent. Like when people say it's your fault, when they were just externalizing their own feelings of being at fault. If you can recognize that, to distinguish your own actions from another person's in that way, then you definitely can give that back to the universe, that I no longer take this because this is their feelings that somehow I'm carrying for them. Why am I carrying this feeling for them if I can't change them? That's their journey. Hand that back to the universe. One thing you can do to practice is write down their feelings that you are carrying and then cast it into a safe place to burn, like a pot, a fireplace, a campfire. That can be very, very healing. And the mantra when you're casting something into fire is Swaha, just in case you want to make it more of a ceremony. Thank you, dear Renvox, for your finger heart. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Hello, dear Lee from Italy. Hello, Tracy. Dear 30 Atheist King, you ask, is this a clean sock? It is. What brings you here? I'm sure that your algorithm brought you here for a reason. What do you like to engage in on this app? And what parts of this space do you resonate with? That's funny, Olski. Hello, dear Nanda. Thank you for your heart, me dear Calypso. Shri Mahalakshmiyai Namaha. In a soda you share, that's been your issue with guilt. You think you absorbed other person's patterns of judgment, but haven't let it go. I trust your understanding if that resonates with you. Yeah. You think you might try the fire technique, or even just journaling, writing it out in some way. That way, you've literally taken feelings that were inside you and you've put them outside in some form, like written down. Or you can belt your heart out in a song and get that song out into the world. Music is not just for entertainment or an occupation, but it's very healing, deeply healing for the musician. And all of us can take advantage of that. Even if we're not entertainers, even if we're not trying to be musicians, we all have music as part of our human abilities. Music is not a talent that happens to a couple people. It is a mark of life. It's a feature of being alive. Maybe you can try that too if you like. And thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for the rose you sent. How are you? Harihi Om Tat Sat. There's a popping sound in my voice. Oh, I hope it's not too distracting for you. I hope you can listen to the words themselves more than how the words sound. Obviously, the meaning is found there. Hello, dear Jarrett. You're feeling good, dear Hybrid Jen. You just sat down. Long day, standing up on your feet. Oh, I'm not sure what else you'd be standing on. Hopefully it was your feet. Hopefully not your elbows. Not a long day of standing on your elbows or your knees. I think that'd be very painful. And it would be needless. Get it? Thank you, Minnesota, for the heart me that you sent. Narayanaya vidmahe Vasudevaya dhimahi Tanno Rudra Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. I'd love to know how you're all feeling in this moment if you want to share. Of course, it's never expected. Always welcome to keep your own personal life personal and private. But it is nice to know a kind of space to hold for feeling lighter, dear Nasoda. Hello, dear Tony. Is this your greeting? It's the standard greeting. Classic Vine sound. You feel relaxed, all scheme? Wired, shares Rosie. What's got your wired? Feeling blessed. I'm happy to hear that, Barbara. It's a good moment to take a conscious breath together if you want. Feeling overwhelmed, shares Jarrett. Going through bags of kids' clothes, sorting out the small and summer ones. That's understandable. Doing some spring cleaning. Spring organization. I recently just threw out a bunch of clothes. And by throw out, I mean donate. Definitely didn't just throw out my clothes. That was very healing. Although in the moment it definitely was a little overwhelming. Going through every item and assessing my attachment to it or not. You feel optimistic. I'm happy to hear that, Hybrid Jen. What are you feeling optimistic about? Feeling closer to yourself. That's a beautiful feeling, Barbara. Thank you, Separatio, for the finger heart and heart me that you sent. Mitraya Namah. Rosie, you're thinking about work. Trying to differentiate between anxiety and excitement. That is so understandable. Yeah, excitement is very similar to anxiety. You can alchemize anxiety into excitement. Just as I'm sure you've experienced what it's like for your excitement to turn into anxiety, you can turn it the other way around too. What are you excited for, dear Rosie? You have a full bag of donations ready to go. Wow. Perfect timing for that, dear Jarrett. Yeah, I'm sure you'll feel much relieved after. Don Suela, your neighbors just got back from the Philippines and brought you fresh mangoes from their tree. I love that. Wow. What a personal delivery. I could certainly go for one of those mangoes too. Mango, mango, mango. Oski, you feel optimistic too, because you're going to check out the 10 AC homestead that is feasible for you to afford. I love that. I'm very happy for you. Hello, Kaukiji. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Ram Ram. Rosie, you're excited about so many things. Just new ideas and stuff, but anxious about responsibility and commitment. That makes sense. If it helps, remember that you only have to be responsible for the next thing. Whatever is before you in this moment. What's in the future is still in the future. Worry about it when it comes. And commitment is always a question that you get to re-ask yourself every moment. Do you feel committed to something in this moment? Great. You can re-ask yourself that the next time it comes. And you're always welcome to step back from something. All of life takes place in this moment. You're very welcome, Rosie. Yeah, you're doing some good pondering, sounds like. I'm happy to hear that you're well, dear Kalki G. I think my... Well, I'm certainly going to have to try very hard to make sure that I improve this experience for you next time. Hoping that it doesn't continue crashing. I'm sure it probably will, since it seems to happen every 30 minutes or so. Maybe I can wrap up today's live stream in the next 30 minutes then. And I'll do some work on my computer as soon as I get a chance. Thank you, Minnesota, for your rose. Ravaye Namaha. But I'm grateful for all your patience. Yeah, it's not you, dear Hybrid Gen. It's definitely me, my computer. But welcome again. Anyway, I'm grateful that you all got a chance to share how you're feeling. Hybrid Gen, you spent your first hours of being awake outside watering, and that made you really positive. Oh, I love that. I think there's chemicals in the soil that help our bodies release endorphins, which is really cool. And thank you, Dancing Aurora Borealis, for your swan. Namah Karlim Ambita Me Shrim Nadita Me Hrim Devita Me I'm Saraswatyai Swaha. I hope my live stream is back now. I think it is. Yeah. Jarrett, you share your kids are currently playing in the creek in the horse pasture with their aunties while you clean. I love that. Yeah, I'm sure you wish you could be out there, perhaps, playing in the creek as well. Thank you, dear Usha Priyaji, for your flowers and your many roses. My goodness. 66, 67. Suryaya Namaha. In Minnesota, you had asked how not to connect to everyone when walking on the street has been overstimulating. Feel the space between you rather than, and I'm gonna lose my voice, maybe. I'm losing everything, my connection, my voice. Alright, not everything, just two things. It's easy to be overstimulated when your mind darts between the many things in your experience. But can you try to bring your awareness not to the things in it, but the very space between and pervading all things? That way you're not focused on the people, you're focused on just the one space between the many people, the air, you know? Your awareness still contains them. Pardon me. Figaro. Your awareness still contains them. But it's more about creating a homogeneous sense of awareness by focusing on the space between everything rather than the individual things. Breathing helps too, shares Barbara. That's a good addition. Thank you for that. I have not been to Scotland before, dear Polly. It is 444 where I am. Number of protection, I think. Now I have a question of the day for all of you, if you're interested in sharing. Today my question of the day is, if you feel your Wait a second. My question of the day is behind me. That's cool. My question of the day is, if you feel your mind spiraling, how can you stabilize yourself? How can you find that centering? I'd love to explore that with you. I'll give you a few minutes to explore this. Glad you like the question, Minnesota. Perhaps relevant to your outdoor walks. Remember that there are no wrong answers, and I'm certainly not looking for any particular right answer. And you share, listen to music and go for a walk. I like that. It's also very applicable in Minnesota's case. You can bring some music with you. Bring your attention to that. Center it on the bass line or your favorite instrument or the artist's vocalizations. You always do? Perfect. Ibergen, you share, you go to the void to calm down, and remember you're in the chaos of everything to learn. Stay still, turn from your senses, quiet your surroundings. I like that. I like how you're not afraid of the void too. Many people have a kind of fear-based relationship with that concept. How do you find a sense of peace in the void, dear hybrid gem? You see, if I am live on TikTok, shares Polly. Oh, well, it's very sweet. I'm happy that I help with that. I hope I can give you some tools that you can take with you everywhere you go, so that you definitely don't have to rely on me. Boogie Nugan, you ask a great related question. What do you do when you feel your mind burned out completely and can't fix it? You rest. The mind always has a way to recharge, but sometimes it takes many days or weeks or months, especially if you've been pushing yourself past your limit for years. Yeah. Give your mind lots of nothing to do. Lots of time to just reset, relax, be bored, be in nature. Other people are welcome to add on to that spin of the question of the day too. Marilyn Manson calms you down, says Ginger Bear. Who's that? I forget. Is this a kind person? Don Suela, you share breathing, talking to a friend, or going for a walk. Those are all great things to do to stabilize yourself when your mind is spiraling. Jared, you share, change your immediate environment. Oftentimes, just moving will shift your presence elsewhere. Literally. Well said. Yeah, that makes sense. Ibergen, you answer, you dreamed about the void in many ways, like the black water abyss or the quiet of outer space. When you wake up, the feeling you had, you carry that feeling with you. So it's a very dreamy sort of feeling that you experience when you rest. Dear BTW, you share, return to a calm state of breath, senses, and focus on awareness without adding tension to what's already present. Beautifully spoken. I can tell a lot of experience has gone into that comment. You like to clean, shares Emma. Yeah, my mom does too. And she's really good at it. It does help her a lot. And I hope to help her with that too. Thank you for being here, dear Joe, and for all your knowledge and wisdom. Take a nap, shares Ginger Bear. Yeah. I'm sorry that I distract you, dear Hybridgen. Please remember that everyone is welcome to come and go as they please. No one is ever expected here. And all the good stuff that you can experience in this live stream can be experienced elsewhere in this world. Joe, you share to meditate and have no thought, and fasting is very important for our growth. I see the value in all those things. Nap with a friend, if that's a possibility, shares Ginger Bear. Yeah, if it's a friend you can be vulnerable with, that's beautiful. That's extra healing. Good evening, dear John. You share by taking a little nap as well, dear Dancing Aurora Borealis. We have a lot of nap lovers here. I actually have a title to share with you. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Sorry, you might see my butt for a second. Oops. I am good at naps. Isn't this the funniest thing? My mom got this for me. It just sits on my shelf. Good at naps. And it's funny because I'm not good at naps. I almost never nap. I could get a lot better at napping. Oski, you add to our question of the day, noticing it gently to loosen its grip, identifying what deeper longing or fear is surfacing. Breathe. I like that. It's so true that even the noticing of it can change that. You do your best cleanups after you had a major breakdown, shares Hybrid 10. Aww. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your house and your environment thanks you for that. But remember, there's only so much we can do when we clean the outer world. There's other things we can do to clean the inner world too. I'm sure you have practices for that too. Like being with the void, as you said, right? I'm grateful you find a lot of unique things in these live streams, dear John. But certainly, whatever I exemplify in this space is I hope, a possibility that can be exemplified anywhere else when we choose to bring out these things. Thank you, dear Hairspray Betty, for your finger heart. And Innesoda, thank you for your ice cream cone. Bhanave Namah. The silence and emptiness of space, shares BTW. Also a long breath with a slow, exaggerated sigh is very calming. Very true. Joe, you share you can truly bring heaven right here to earth. Just takes a little work. Righteousness, living in truth. I like your word. Nayara. No, let me try to pronounce that again. Nayara. You ask for tips when our attention is weak. Practice focusing on one thing, a little bit at a time. It can be as simple as the tip of your finger. And you take a break. Or you can move to something like a mandala, or the tip of a flame, or a tree, anything. It's called Trataka. When you fix your gaze upon something, you practice that. The yogis practice increasing the focus of their attention by literally practicing looking at something one-pointedly. And it has an effect on your mind after a longer period of time. And rest, relax. Your attention span is like a battery. It does need recharging at times. If you find yourself just unable to give your attention to something, maybe you do have the capacity, just not right now. And so give yourself some time to recharge. Do something else. What do you like to do to recharge, dear Nayara? And is there anything that you might like to practice fixing your gaze on, like a tree or a body of water or a candle? Napping comes with age, shares Minnie May. You could never nap until you got to your 40s. Interesting. Maybe I'll follow a similar trajectory. Joe, you share truly. If you control your breathing, you control your mind, and body autopilot off. I like that. Hello, dear Zia. If your mind is spiraling, you'd say it needs a break. Time for your body to take the wheel and feel what the mind is attempting to intellectualize. I love that. Let your body take the wheel and feel. That is poetic. Thank you, Michael, for your rose and for your patience. I still haven't gotten to your email, but I haven't forgotten it. Pushni Namaha. Your answer is sort of weird, shares Hilaraya, but you actually focus on the right side of your brain instead of the left. That's very interesting. That makes sense to me. Your right side of your brain corresponds to your Pingala, your solar energy, which has everything to do with focus. Focus is a quality of the right side of your nervous system, your Pingala. Flame has worked before for you. Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to remind you, dear Nayara. Nature is always the best way to be thoughtless and relaxed for you. I love that. Take advantage of that. And if you take any beautiful photos, feel free to share them in the show and tell. Emma, you share observing who is aware of the spiraling and feeling into it, offering the spiral to be felt. I like that. Withdraw into the observer. Offer your awareness unto it. Thank you, Mike. Are you in need of being calmed today? Sometimes you felt static in your brain from overstimulation, shares Minnie May. That's incredible how we can really feel our feelings physically. Yeah. Static is a great symbol of overstimulation because it's all these tiny points coming together to form something big and changing. Noticing there is spiraling and not becoming the spiraling. Well said, dear Emma. You are not that which is spiraling. You are that which is witnessing the spiraling. You have a beautiful crescent moon tonight over London, shares John, shimmering through the tree canopy. Stunning. I love that. Yes, we're in the 6th day of the lunar calendar, in the waxing phase. So we've got another 9 days before the full moon. 9 lunar days, that is. The full moon will be on the 12th of May. Your job at the time was all cognitive, shares Mini Main. Specsavers, opticians, so no physical assertion. Wow. Yeah. So the energy was static, all in your head and body, felt unable to move and balance it out. That makes sense. Yeah. It's good to be aware of these things, and thank you for sharing your experience of that. So what do you like to do when you feel like that static? Napping, perhaps? Thank you, Zach, for your heart me as well. Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. You need to move in your job. Your body craves movement, but you choose solitude for that. That makes sense. You like movement in your job and solitude when you need to relax your nervous system in that way. You need love, shares Alex. Your life and all nature, your home, earth, the whole universe. I feel very home in all those places too. Yeah. Nobody needs love per se, because you are love itself, but all of our bodies and minds could certainly use more love. And John, you share the reason you were late to join tonight was because you had an unscheduled nap. Those are the best naps, when they're unscheduled. And you weren't late, you're perfectly on time. Naps definitely take priority. I'm glad you prioritized rest. Anyone else have a good nap today? So, I'm going to minimize the question of the day. Thank you for exploring that with me. I think we had some varied options. Maybe we can remember at least one of them that another person shared, what to do when our mind is spiraling. The classic is definitely to remember that you are not that which is spiraling. The very fact that you can feel something spiraling means there's movement that you are aware of. And if you're aware of it, then what's that awareness that's behind the movement? That's still, even when everything else is not. Maybe to help you get into that state, you can take a walk, do some mindful breathing, be in nature. All of these things are helpful. Absolutely. I'm sure your body needed it, dear John. Zia, you ask, is 10 a.m. too early for a nap? No, there's no time. There's no nap police. Who's going to go after you for taking a nap? In fact, it's better to nap earlier in the day so that you're able to go to bed on time later in the day. Yeah. Especially if you got up much before 10 a.m. You know, if you rose at 5 a.m., you're talking about 5 hours after you rose. It's safe to take a nap? Absolutely. But even if you rose at 9 a.m. and you don't have any responsibilities at 10, or even if it was 9:55 that you woke up, sometimes you just need a little rest even after waking up. Yam is a nap enthusiast, confirmed. What can I say? I'm good at naps. At least talking about them. Hilariah, you share, unfortunately, if you're a parent, napping isn't always a choice. Yeah, that's right. The children are the nap police. My mom said something very wise. She said her friends would always complain, I never get a chance to sleep. And my mom would find that funny because she had a very interesting idea. What if she sleeps when the children sleep? Rather than trying to use the time that the children are asleep as a time for her personal stuff, if the children are napping, she goes and naps too. Or she includes the children, like myself, in on her naps. My mom would say, I need to take a nap. Are you coming with me? And I'd go and take a nap with her. And then we'd both be able to sleep together. And that was very healthy for us both. Thank you, dear John, for your 18 roses. Marichaye Namaha. I'm happy to hear that. That's some good advice. Widely known. Dear Emma, you share, when love or happiness arises, we attach it to something or person. Love just exists. Well said, Emma. Good night, dear Nayara. And how are you feeling, dear Hilaraya? How are your children treating you? Sometimes your brain won't turn off when you want it to. Very true. Yeah. Dear Minnie May, you want to give up smoking green and drinking and embrace your natural energy and explore its power. I believe that's a possibility for you. Absolutely. What is the reason that you want to? Well, I guess you said, embrace your natural energy and explore its power. Better question, what would you do with that natural energy and explore its power? And how would you explore its power? And by the way, the proof that that's possible is I used to do both of those things, and I no longer, many years ago. Dear Hilaraya, you sure you have a teen daughter and she is mean? Well, she has to be. It's part of being a teen daughter. If you're not mean as a teen daughter, are you really going through stages of growth, development? Right? Nice to see you again, dear McGabane. How are you today? Yeah. Remember that the problem of your children, if it's expressed to you, you have to be humble. You have to take it. Especially if they're young like that. Because if you get defensive at your children, they get defensive too. Even in that stage where they're finding their own independence, they're still looking at you for cues. If they see that you are remaining humble, not getting defensive, then they won't either. I am a kid from North America, dear McGabane. But what does that mean to you? Does it mean anything if I was younger or older or from a different continent? I'm hoping that we can see past each other's age and geography and connect at a more universal level. Do you feel like that's agreeable terms? Do you find value in that? Dear Minnie, may you share that smoking stops you remembering and you're sick of being a slave to it. Yeah, that makes sense. So you'd gain ability to remember and some freedom in your ability to find benefits that you'd normally find in the substance from within. I understand, McGabane. You don't feel like my accent is normal for a kid from North America. Well, remember that I am neurodivergent. And neurodivergent people often develop language skills differently than the people around them. People who are autistic, for example, often get bullied, such as myself, for sounding like a robot at times, or for not being as sensitive to social cues like our intonation. Do you happen to be neurodivergent too, dear Mika Bain? Sometimes when we judge others for how they sound, it's because we have been judged in our life before, and I'm sorry if you have felt like that at times too. I'm sure that the way you speak is perfectly natural for you. Thank you for your apology. I forgive you. But what brings you to these live streams? I've seen you here many times over the years. There must be something on your algorithm that draws you here. Is there any common ground in this space that you like to partake in? Do you have any interest in spirituality or maybe my old content like mathematics, for example? And that makes sense, dear Minnie May. Yeah. I certainly noticed that when I stopped smoking the green stuff, that I had more vivid dreams again. And it's very funny because while you do smoke it, it does seem to make other parts of your experience more vivid. So you think that would carry over in your dreams, but maybe that's where it's drawing the vivivity from. You're going into dream debt because it takes your dreams and then it overlays them on your waking reality. Maybe. Just an idea. You are 2 months smoke-free, shares John, tomorrow. And it's all down to this wonderful live stream. Oh, I can't take any credit for that. You've put in that effort. That's amazing. I hope you're proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself? I can only hope to have been a good encouragement, but you applied that effort. No. Dear Anne, you point out how it's weird that some people love smoking and others can't stand it. Yeah? What part about that do you find weird, dear Anne? We are all different beings, of course, and all of our bodies react differently to different substances, and we have different memories corresponding with those substances. Some people have very positive role models in our life that choose to engage in it or not, and some people have negative role models. Well, I guess they wouldn't be role models, they'd be, negative influences in their life that choose to engage in it or not. And we can associate whether we want to engage in it or not based on the people around us in our life and how they are. You're very proud of the great people on here, says John. Well, remember that you're part of the people here. So I hope in that sense, your humility allows for namaste. Hello. My computer crashed yet again. It seems to be almost like clockwork that 20 or 30 minutes goes by and then it crashes. I wonder why that is. I wonder why my computer can run smoothly for a certain amount of time, and then as soon as it gets to a certain point, it no longer is able to keep running. I wonder if there's a memory leak from the way certain programs are programmed. I sound like a robot right now? Uh-oh. Let's see if I can fix that. Hello? Is that better now? Fixed. Good to know. So I hope that didn't hurt anyone's ears. I think it's about time to bring this live stream to a close soon. Try to do the meditation before it crashes again, but let's get some nice music in the background while we do that. Again, thank you for everyone's patience. I'm sure it's not exactly the most pleasant thing to watch and listen to, it sounds like. But I'm committed to making it a better experience next time. Emma, you had asked, how do you deal with anger? You never make a deal with anger. When you notice that you're getting angry, try to remember, this is one of those moments that you're getting angry. Because you have all this knowledge within you, but it's difficult to utilize when we forget in the moment that anger arises. So the first thing you can do is to notice, I'm getting angry. It sounds obvious, but truly it's not. When you're in the middle of feeling angry, you might not even realize that you're angry. The first step is to notice that, acknowledge, anger is arising. Then that gives you some leeway, because now you're no longer so identified with the emotion that you can't separate yourself from it. You understand that this is an emotion that's arising in your experience, just like other parts of your experience arise too. So now the question is not, how is that anger going to affect your decisions? It's, how is your knowledge that you are angry going to decide what to do instead of what the anger wants you to do? The anger is going to want you to get up and scream and run around and, break something. If you can remind yourself of all the times that hasn't been helpful in the past, remember this. Think about all the times that you were able to let something go. All the times in which you handled something with peace or calm. Do you remember a time like that? Bring to mind those memories. They really help. It's like an insurance policy, because your anger is going to make you question yourself. Should I really let this go? Well, remember, what happened when you didn't let it go last time? Did you break something or hurt someone or hurt yourself? If so, that's a good sign that, this isn't the way you want to be dealing with something. Can you ask yourself, is there any way that you've handled a situation with calmness or care or patience before and that it ended up going better? So now you remember that there are alternatives to what this anger is asking of you. Try to be more proactive than reactive in that way. Understand that your emotions arise just like other things arise in your experience. Try to delay what your anger wants you to do. Even if you don't fully believe that you should be peaceful instead of angry at this moment, at least give yourself some time. Say, I'm going to wait some seconds. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to maybe walk away for a moment or sit down or say, I need to pause our conversation right here. I'm getting a little upset. I need to center myself. All of those things can be helpful, but the biggest thing is just remembering to engage in something. You have everything you need to know. You just need to bring it to your mind, which is one of the hardest things to do when you are angry. Dear human rights activist, you had asked, what does emptiness refer to in Buddhism, in my opinion? Without my opinion, just understanding where the word comes from, the word that gets translated to emptiness in Sanskrit is Shunya. It has many different endings, like Shunyata or Shunyavada. All of those things literally translate to emptiness. My life has been restricted for themes that some may find uncomfortable. Of course. I mean, talking about how to make yourself peaceful when you're angry. Oh, what a terrible topic. Oh well. It'll just make for a more exclusive audience as we end the live stream. Mistakes happen, and sometimes these lives get flagged for, automated reasons. Just some algorithm trying to fulfill its dharma. Anger does feel good to let it out. It's expressed in justice. Absolutely right. Yeah. But remember that anger is never going to be the source of justice, because justice requires peace. So if you're feeling that you've experienced injustice and you want to bring about justice, remember that justice always comes from a place of peace. Because justice requires fairness. How can you be fair when you're angry? Justice requires a balanced perspective. It's definitely not easy to balance your perspective while under intense emotions. Justice requires being impartial, and that means going beyond the emotions. Emotions are what bias us in justice. So if we can relax them, you know that you'll be able to create more justice. But yeah, Shunyata is the Sanskrit word that gets translated to emptiness in Buddhist contexts. It also has made its way into Pali, where it sounds the same, Shunya. Shunyata, Shunyavada. What is the importance of emptiness in Buddhism? They say that everything is ultimately empty. It's very easy to misunderstand this, isn't it? Because it gives you a variety of possible choices to feel. Well, what interpretation leads to the most peace? This is the defining feature of Buddhist logic. Whatever interpretation leads to cessation of suffering. In my opinion, it's the interpretation that understands emptiness not as a lack, not that you're missing something, not as an inherent illusoriness, not about denying the reality of your experience or your feelings or thoughts, but about spaciousness. And in fact, there's some translators of Buddhist texts that translate Shunya instead of emptiness to spaciousness. And I think that is a great translation. Spaciousness. It's not about discovering that your thoughts were empty of meaning, or that your emotions were empty of value, or this world was empty of reality, but that it's spacious. There's room for you, for experience. That it's not already full, decided by you. There is infinite possibility still. Spaciousness. Shunyata. And that's very understandable, dear Am. Yeah, it's good to reflect on our anger. Did our anger really help solve the problem? Sometimes it does. To be absolutely fair, there are times to get angry. Most of the time, it tends to create more problems than not, doesn't it? Someone must have reported me, shares Amma. Maybe. If they have, that's their right. They are allowed to report live streams because maybe something made them uncomfortable. And if that's true, if there was any theme here that made anyone uncomfortable, you're welcome to let me know. And I'd be happy to make this space more comfortable for you or anyone. I don't take any personal offense to it, and it's okay. If there was anything triggering in this live stream for anyone, they're doing everything that makes sense to them. Maybe they need to take some space away from the live stream too. That's always healthy too. I encourage that for everyone. If anyone here ever feels uncomfortable in this space, please give yourself some space from this live stream. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to suffer. No one is obligated to watch these live streams. Always welcome to take care of yourself. I won't take any offense to that. Thank you, dear Seaflow, for your heart, me too. Adityaya Namaha. Yeah, your message was cut off, dear Hilaraya, because you only get so many characters to type when you're commenting. I see that your last comment got full. I can't remember how many. It's like 100 characters. It's not a lot. And so it has to be separated into different comments. I'm very grateful that everyone is able to fit their thoughts inside a single TikTok comment, because often that's not an easy thing to do. I know that I'm not trying to be triggering to anyone, dear Hilaraya, but sometimes we do cover themes that can be triggering to some people. Sometimes seeing another person happy can be triggering because it makes them question why they aren't happy. And it challenges their awareness because they might be very aware of some suffering. And then someone else who doesn't seem to be struggling with that makes them feel like their experience is invalidated. And I totally get that. So I just want to remind anyone that even though there's a lot of happiness, love, and peace in this space, that it's not out of a difference of experience, that you can still find all of that, and maybe even here, if you want to share that here, together, or elsewhere. You can still be valid in all your awareness and experience, and I wish that for everyone. Dear Enzo, you had asked, how does one know when fear is helping or holding one back? Are you still able to do the things that you want to do in life? Are you still pursuing your goals? If so, then fear is a natural part of your experience and it's not holding you back in any way. If you are unable to go out of your comfort zone, you seem unable to maintain relationships or job, or the things that used to bring you joy no longer do, that's a sign that the fear itself is holding you back. You've turned up the dial of sensitivity, of cautiousness, of protecting this life, and you've walled yourself in. Now you're suffering in your own prison that you've constructed to keep things out. You accidentally trapped yourself in. So there is a healthy amount of fear, and there is an unhealthy amount of fear. Does that make sense? Thank you, Pressure and Time, for your 10 roses. Savitore Namaha. Dear Ascended Marissa, you're wondering what I'm currently doing on myself, like inner work or shadow work. Well, these live streams definitely help me work through a lot of things too. Help me become face-to-face with new challenges. Part of the magic of the internet is if you go on the internet, somebody is going to challenge you. And I'm aware of that. And I like to take advantage of that, because it means that every day there is going to be at least one challenge. And that challenge helps me become more patient, more understanding, empathetic, for example. And all of those things are ways to work on yourself, for example. But I've been trying to wake up earlier these last few months, and been doing some fasting. Sadhana, the Sanskrit word for spiritual practice, is something that I love to engage in. I love to do a lot of prayer. If I can, do ceremonies where I release energy, things like that. What about you, dear Marissa? What's on my microphone? Hair care routine, please, shares Maya. Well, I could tell you about these things, but they're not as important, in my opinion, about then how you're feeling. How are you feeling, dear Maya? Is there something that you're not addressing inside that's keeping you from the real content of this live stream, which is what's being spoken of rather than what's on screen? That's very healthy, dear Hilaraya. When we are feeling triggered, anger doesn't have to be the default response. Curiosity is a very healthy one. How can we be curious about what triggers us rather than angry? That's a good question. Dear Amelia, you ask, how do you cultivate peace within yourself? You don't. The secret is, you are peace itself, so get yourself out there. Greetings, dear Jazz. All right. I would like to end the live stream with a little meditation. If you're interested in sticking around, this will be a very lively meditation that uses our voice. Yours as well, if you want to involve it too. Of course, dear Emilio. I'd love to know how you like to get yourself out there into the world. Today we'll have another mantra meditation, and I'm going to cross my fingers that my computer doesn't crash in the middle of it. I'll pray rather than cross my fingers, since my computer has been crashing a lot today. So without further ado, today's meditation is another mantra meditation, and we'll be chanting a mantra based around a single Sanskrit sound. That single Sanskrit sound is da, which is like a D in English, but in Sanskrit, this sound, you curl your tongue back to pronounce it. It's one of the retroflex sounds, named after the position your tongue must make to pronounce it. So actually, the bottom of the tip of your tongue touches the hard palate behind your teeth. Da, da. it kind of creates a darker sort of tone. And this sound has 3 different associations to it, as described in the 2nd chapter of the ancient scripture known as the Kamika Agama. The first is that it's said to be yellow, just like this text here. The second is that it's dedicated to a form of the divine known as Ekanetra, which means the one-eyed one. The one-eyed one. It's one of the names of Shiva, a form of the divine associated with finality and dissolution in India, where this mantra tradition originates. So both that sound, da, and the name Ekanetra will be in this mantra. The third association is that it's said to have the power to conquer time. Now, what that exactly means to you, I'll leave it up to interpretation, but I feel like it has to do with, at the very least, time management, that we get a good sense of control over how we use our time. Or perhaps it's the sense of transcending time, neither in the past nor in the future, but in the present. You conquer time in that way. But that's the term that's used for this sound. The whole mantra is pronounced like this. Aum Dang Ekanetraya Namah. Salutations to the one-eyed one. The first 2 sounds are just bijas, which are seed sounds that are just sacred. They don't literally translate to anything, in particular at least. I've added some other pronunciation pointers, just like you have to curl your tongue back to pronounce this da sound, which is symbolized by the dot under the D. We've got a bar over the A in Ekanetraya. That means it's long, literally, in terms of duration. O's and E's pronounced O, A. These are also always long in Sanskrit. At the end of these 2 bijas, you have an M with a dot under it. That's a nasalization known as an anuswara. It's not quite like an M, although you can close your lips to pronounce it like an M. What you do is you raise the space of resonance into your nasal cavity. It's a very sacred sound. Finally, at the end of Namah, salutations, is a mini exhale. Namah. All together one more time. Aum Dang Ekanetraya Namah. And as a bonus tip, if you ever want to get that crispy R sound, Netraya, curl your tongue back too, just like in the da sound. We will chant it 108 times, and we'll use the use of mala, which acts as a tool to count out that many repetitions for us so that we don't have to. You're welcome to just listen or to chant along. It's fun when you chant along. Apologies in advance for any inconsistencies. This will be my first time chanting it this many times too. Aum Dang Ekanetraya Namah. 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 Aum Dang Ek. Namaste, namaste. My apologies, my computer crashed again. I'm grateful that it crashed at the beginning. I'm back, right? Now that I know that it's almost clockwork, that when my computer crashes, we should be good to do the mantra without any crashes. So thank you for your patience. I'm glad it crashed within like the first repetition or so. Our mantra energy is so powerful, it's crashing the computer. That's right. Okay, I always record the clips of the meditations along with the other segments like the reading for posterity on different playlists on my YouTube channel. In case you're ever wondering, but I'm telling you because I'm just going to quickly go through the purpose and meaning of this mantra again so that when I upload that, people will have that too. Today's mantra is Om Ekanetra Namah. I've added some pronunciation pointers here. For example, the O, A, A, these are all long vowels. For the bija, the seed itself, you curl your tongue back to pronounce it. That's why it has a dot under it, indicating that it's a little different. Da, da, dang. And at the end of these two bijas, there is an M with a dot under it. This is the anuswara, the nasal. The sound, which comes from the second chapter of the Kamika Agama in Sanskrit, is said to be associated with the color yellow, like the color of this text here. Also with the form of Shiva, known as Ekanetra, which literally is the one-eyed one. It's said to also be able to give you the power of conquering time, which means something like transcending the past and the future and taking full advantage of the present moment. If you're interested, you're welcome to listen or chant along with me. The symbolism of the one-eyed one, by the way, is when Shiva closes his two material eyes and only his third eye is open, he is known as the one-eyed one, someone who is seeing purely spiritually. All right, without further ado, we'll chant it 108 times together. Om Dam Ekanetraya Namah. 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 Aum Dong 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 Ekanetraya Namah. Om Dam Ekanetra 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 Namah. Ekanetra Namah. Salutations to the one-eyed one. May we rest in a few moments of the reverberations of this mantra. Thank you for chanting or meditating with us. And yippee! The live stream hasn't crashed. So I'm going to end the live stream as soon as I can before it crashes again, which it will if I continue live streaming. I'll try to figure out what's wrong with it. Maybe I might just completely reset my computer, like do a factory reset. I'll say goodbye to all my programs and files. Well, I'll try to transfer over the ones that I need to keep, but practice the art of non-attachment with my software, my files. Or I might have to start saving for new computer parts if I can figure out which part of my computer isn't functioning so well. Thank you everyone for being part of this live stream. If it does crash before I'm able to say goodbye, this will be the end. I'm not gonna restart the live stream again. Thank you, Banjo, for your heart me and tiny that you sent whilst we chanted. Yippee! Dear Talita, thank you for your tiny as well. Yahoo! You did it all. Well done, dear Olski. How many of you did it well? Or did it all? And thank you, dear Inevitable, for your septet of roses. Arkaya Namaha. Your nasalization isn't as good. Well, I've had more time to practice. I'm sure that it'll get better with practice. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for putting up with the many technical difficulties we've had. I really hope to have that settled soon. I have put a lot of time into clearing up my computer and updating drivers and physically cleaning it out too. And it's strange that it keeps crashing. I wonder what that is. I'm not as technically or technologically versed as people may think I am. I like to program, but I'm not good when hardware fails. I don't know how to do all that sort of stuff. You are always where you are meant to be, dear Inevitable. We cannot have the ability to save another's lives when it is their destiny to continue to live. And that is certainly yours. I'm only grateful to play a small role in it. Thank you. You are inevitable. Thank you to my lovely moderators who help keep the peace. If there's anything I could do to make this space more inclusive for anyone next time, anyone is welcome to message me. My inbox is open for that purpose and for the purpose of attending to things that I couldn't while I'm live. Hello and goodbye, dear Crossfires. You're just on time. Thank you, dearest Inevitable, for another trio of roses. Bhaskaraya Namaha. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Asatoma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityormamritangamaya. Shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Tat Sat. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. Om. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. May you have a wonderful rest of your present moment, everyone.